Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven, and we're going to continue to review the trades that I take in this 5 test account challenge on Take Profit Trader. We're down about $40 on the day. It is August 5th, New York session, and we're just going to go through what transpired today. We took 1, 2, 3, 4 trades today, and actually there was a couple others that were just entry errors, so we got out of them pretty quickly, so we're not really going to count those because they weren't planned and they were just mistakes. So to start, we'll start with our opening range breakout trade. Also have the back tested stats here at the bottom. We entered a long after we broke the 15-minute open range, the green and red lines, with a 5-minute close. We entered right at the top, the start of the next candle, moved up a little bit, and came down and stopped us out. So we just hung out. Price continued to go down and down and down. We were looking for a retracement based off our Edgeful stats back into about 25 to 30% of this initial balance, but it never happened. We just kept going down. And the stats basically say on Tuesdays when we single break, we single break about 80% of the time. So all of the other reports and things, for the most part, we had a gap fill. Everything looks very bearish. So the bias in general is bearish. However, when we get down to the bottom here, we create this low, then we come in and put in a high, and then we just start to essentially, we break below it, come back up, but we've been in this zone for most of the afternoon. So if we take a look, this is on 5-minute charts. I was bouncing back between the 5 and the 1. What we can see here is we make a higher high. So there's a range right here. And then we've been in that range the entire time. Obviously, if we go down to a 1 minute, we have some smaller pullbacks and ranges. So we executed some trades. So in a nutshell, the first trade we executed at the bottom, I guess we're trying to find the bottom, right? Just for a little pullback, is we came down, made this low, put in a high, came back through, and once, let me put a little box here. Let me remove this box. Let's come back to this range right here. So once this range is established right here, we retrace and then we start to break back towards the top. Well, I decided to enter here. Now looking at it, it's not super clear to me why I entered right here. Going back to the 5-minute, these are the only 2 frames I looked at. Let's see if I can find why I entered this trade. Okay, we came down. Okay, so we had this indecision candle, or came down. We had this long wick with a strong body, or a hammer to the top here. So that's what I entered. So I entered this trade. We came up, and I essentially took it to the top of this wick, and some resistance here as well. In the past, this zone right here, I decided just to take it off right there, and we netted $89, I believe. So that was a good trade. Made a little bit of it back. We lost about 198 on that first trade. Then we had a couple execution errors, just entering a long or entering short. So a couple of those showed up, but we got out as soon as we noticed that we did that. And that happened up here, where I entered into a short where I meant to enter into a long. But so we get back up to the top here, and we were making higher, we continue to come up, and we wicked through and broke through this high, but it wasn't with a body close. So not a strong break of structure because we just wicked through it. Coming back to the 1 minute, if we look at it here, same idea. We continue to come up. I should have probably just held on to that a little bit longer. Whatever the case may be, it doesn't really matter. We did make higher highs on the 1 minute, right? So I was noticing we were making higher highs and higher lows. So I made the decision that we were going to continue up. Well, as soon as I entered, I entered at the very top of this wick for whatever reason, and we continue downward. So we get down to approximately right here at the 1239 candle. We have this indecision candle. I re-entered again, and we got stopped out in like a minute. So we lost on these two trades, and these were 2 and 3 contracts, I believe, 2 contracts and 3 contracts. And then to finish out, we come back down and I re-enter after we make this low. We have a bullish candle, this indecision candle, and I essentially enter at this point right here. We retrace back. Actually, my stop was way up here, by the way. And we get to target. I exit. So we enter right here. I get to target, we exit, and we just start to consolidate. And now we're starting to move a little bit higher and make higher highs, but we haven't got a body close yet. So I would say maybe we did right here. So we just broke structure to the top side. So I'm still looking for a larger retracement back up towards the initial balance. So that's my bias. So I'm looking for an entry, but for now, those are our trades for the day. We are down about $40 on the day, and yeah, we'll see what happens. This is the 5-minute chart, and these were kind of where all those entries and exits were. So I'll pause this and we'll see if we get into any other positions for the rest of the day, and then we'll review. All right, so gonna unpause for a moment. So this is the range that we're in. So we're still in this range. So we made this low after that long move down this morning, put in a high. We made a lower low, breaking the structure, and we came up, and I would consider this an equal high here because it's just a wick, right? We didn't get a body close above this high. So I would consider this an equal high. Then we dropped down and made a higher low, and now we made a higher high. We did break structure to this intermediate bearish candle here that was responsible for this move down, but we still haven't broken through the what I would call the protected high right now. So this high right here is the one I'd like to see us break structure above before maybe a retracement and then a move back up towards maybe this resistance zone that I have marked here. So that's what I'm looking for. Looking for a break above, then a pullback, and then maybe take a long back up to the top to finish out the day. I'll keep an eye on Bookmap. I will pause the video, and if we actually take something, I will unpause and update. All right, so it looks like we may be getting that break of structure, but we still need to see a close. We still have 2 minutes and 40 seconds left on the 5-minute candle. What we're looking for is a body close above. Let's go to trading view. So same idea. I have this range marked, and from this range, This is the top of it. We are breaking structure of the swing high. And we've been in this range for quite some time. So it's a significant development on the bullish side. But I don't want to get too rambunctious and enter just quite yet. What we're going to do is wait for a candle close and see if we get a pullback. Where would it likely pull back to? Potentially this fair value gap right here, from here to here. That might be a zone. So that's where I would like to see it pull back. It's also a little resistance level there. So I would say that that might be an area of interest to enter along. And I would be targeting maybe the bottom of the initial balance, or maybe even to 25% as to where it generally retraces a lot. So I'm really liking this based off the Edgeful stats. We're starting to get movement back up. Let's look at Bookmap. Okay, so we have some buying interest below, lots of selling interest above. And yeah, we may be making a move back up towards that initial balance. So it looks promising. But we're going to wait. Let's go back to trading view. We did get the close. So we're going to look for a retest of this VWAP here that we have marked from the swing high, which is also, it's about 950. Wonder if I think it's marked to here. I think we move it to this one though, because that's the actual high. So you can see we dropped down, bounced off of it, came back up, stayed below it, retesting it, and now we're moving above it. But I would like to see this retracement before we get in. But I wouldn't be opposed to getting back in and taking the retracement up to this 20% level and getting out. So we have an indecision candle, a bullish candle. Maybe we wait for this retest and then close above, and then we jump in. So that's kind of the plan. I'll pause and get back to you when we have an update. All right, so it looks like we may be retracing a little bit. So I've marked two areas for potential entries. This first resistance area where we tapped off of, retraced, came back up, broke through with a wick, retraced again, making a higher low. Tapped into a third time, created some indecision before continuing and breaking structure to the upside. So our structure break is right here. Make that white, and we'll make it a line and a little thicker. So there's our structure break. Now we looks like we bounced off of the structure break, and if we get a bullish candle close here, do I want to chase it? Because here's what I think. Okay, I'd like to see the retracement, um, but I don't know if we get a retracement. So do I be patient and wait for it, or go with what the reports tell me? So we're going to review these Edgeful reports again, since we have time. Let me pull Edgeful up, and this is what we're looking at. So from the what's in play screener, I have a few reports in here. It's bearish for the most part, with the exception of Google, Apple, and Amazon. We have some futures in here: YM, NQ, RTY, Russell, and ES. Same thing with the gap fill. We had RYT, NQ, ES all filled the gaps. YM even filled a gap here. It was a gap down though, so the opposite. And IB by rejection. I need to look a little bit more into this report. I'm not 100% clear on how this report works, but it's clearly bearish. Right now we're below IB and within IB and ES, below IB. So I'm thinking that we could definitely get back into within the initial balance. So that's kind of my bias. Previous day range bullish. It's showing. Let's just look at NQ and ES. Touch the high, and we haven't touched the low yet from the previous day range. So back to reports. So what I looked at was an initial balance report. Now, this is the average performance for the initial balance, which I have marked. I'll show on the chart afterwards once again. But in the meantime, we're going to go by retracement. And this is for Tuesdays. We already have that. So 75% of the time it retraces to 20%. 30%, it retraces 66% of the time. So I'm expecting it to retrace to somewhere in this area because it happens so often. So that is giving me the idea to move up and try to get back into that initial balance. We have a single break of the initial balance. Let's go back to, let's go by weekday. 80% of the time. So doesn't mean we can't retrace back into the zone. Just means that we have a single break 80% of the time on Tuesdays. And if we, that's based on a candle close. So those are pretty strong stats. So that's kind of what's leading me to think that we're going to retrace back into that zone, or at least we have a good probability of doing so. So that being said, let's go back into trading view and we shall see. So right now we have a little bit of indecision here above the break of structure, but we are holding above this VWAP that was created from the swing high earlier in the session, at the beginning of the session. So I do think we are going to close bearish on the day. Here was our open right here. So my guess is that we try to make a move back up to this zone right here, right back to where the open is. And that is exactly where I have my stop is right at, I think that's 20%. Let me see what that is at 20, 70. So 30%. So if we go 75, that happens even more. So maybe to right here would be a more, that happens quite often. So that might be a better target. Now, since we broke through, we could definitely see a retracement back down into this zone. And that's why I have these two areas of interest marked. We still have less than 2 hours, an hour and 50 minutes to trade. So we'll see what happens. But I'm trying to be patient. I would assume that we're at least going to test this break of structure and maybe even come down to this first unmitigated candle right in this zone right here. But we could also come all the way back to this unmitigated candle. My thought is that this unmitigated candle is probably the more realistic entry. So that could be one entry right there. Let's duplicate this. And our second entry might be something like here with a stop below the second fair value gap or unmitigated area, imbalance. So much terminology out there. So that might be the ticket. And we're almost there already. So it looks like we just tested off of that break of structure high, which is also the VWAP from the morning swing high. And this red line was the average performance for the initial balance breakout from the initial balance low. So we exceeded that by quite a bit. So our performance today was, let's go from here. Point 63%, almost double 0.35%. So we're almost at decision time here. So we are going to see what happens. One thought is to put a stop buy. And front run it. So we're testing the initial break of structure right now, tapped into this first unmitigated area, essentially mitigating it and retracing. Let's just take a quick look at Bookmap. Pretty empty on the order book. some resting buying orders starting to stack up, but it's still insignificant. Like to see a little bit more order stacking there. Then again, that could also cause the price to go lower if aggressive sellers step in. This is a key level as well. See in the past where we've had some activity. We are starting to get a little bit of a retracement. So coming back down into this second gap. See, we're almost to that price. Where I think we take our entry and put our stop pretty tight here. I'll be below all of these wicks. I'll be like right here. So I have a pretty tight stop. Now if we can just see a reaction here. Coming back to bookmap. Still not a lot of buying interest. The bottom here, well, there is a little bit here. Sellers are still in control. Getting a little aggressive buying. After this sweep down. This is a good signal. We're right in this volume point of control area where lots of volume has been traded. I'd like to see us break a little bit higher before I'm really interested. Or we just take our shot here. There's not a lot of buying interest at the bottom. So this may be our spot. And this next sell wall up here is 23,250 and 23,265. We'll wait for this close. There's about 3 minutes left in the candle. Essentially bouncing right off this resistance area that we drew out from this unmitigated, now mitigated area. And what do we have here? 2 minutes till the 5-minute close. Go up to the hourly. We did get a 1 hour break of structure right here. So that's strong. Look for a nice pullback. And I actually really like this long here. I don't see a lot of selling pressure. I'm starting to see this buy wall stack up at around 185, 190. It's starting to develop. We're going to keep it here on Bookmap. And technically, this could retrace all the way back to like 23, 170. More likely to somewhere around this area. I think this is where we get a reaction. So I think we're going to take this with a really, really tight stop. I'd like to see a bullish close here, but I don't really see us moving any lower unless aggressive sellers step in. This just looks like a really good place to take a shot. If we look at the trading view, we're just waiting. I'd like to see a little bit of a bullish reaction here before I pull the trigger. Let's look at a range chart real quick. No rush, total patience. So if I create a range from here, I mean, we could come back to this 35, this area, this red line down here, which is our average performance for an initial balance breakdown. We're pretty close. Looks like buyers are lining up. And still being patient. A little bit of aggressive buying stepping in there. And I think this is where we think about entering. Still like to see a little more of a push up. There's still a lot of sell orders stacked up there as well, so I want to see an aggressive push. CVD is flattening out, so aggressive selling is slowed down quite a bit. Patience, patience, patience. I haven't looked at news today, so no idea what's going on there. Um, all right, so we're going to test this wall, this buy wall down here. Starting to thicken up. Not a lot of aggressive selling into the wall here, which is a good sign as far as I can tell, because we're going to absorb the selling pressure and hopefully continue to move up back towards the initial balance low, and then hopefully retrace all the way into 25% of it. I just like to see one really, really strong push of aggressive buyers here, and I'm likely going to jump in with a long. Our levels are still good here. We've yet to drop below. I think if we drop below this level that I identified, it's probably an invalidation of the trade idea. And we may consider looking to continue lower or just continue to range down here in this area. But to me, the thought is making higher lows, making higher highs, stepping up, breaking through structure to the upside, retracing and continuing up into a typical retracement level for an initial balance break still makes the most sense to me. So I think we go with that idea to close the day out. Obviously, this could retrace down to these other areas of resistance, like that range right there. That's possible before continuing up. But we don't have any gaps down here. So maybe this is the only unmitigated area right here. Right, this candle unmitigated. From there to there. Technically, I guess this is unmitigated as well. It's like we bounced right off this level we previously identified, wicked right out of it. So the patience paid off on not entering there because we would have been stopped out on that tight stop. Oh man, this is boring, but that's okay. We'll pause. I'll be back. Okay, so we are continuing to move down, mitigating these areas that have not yet been mitigated. So we did retrace a little bit deeper. So technically, if we were to enter a trade at this moment, we would want our stop below the mitigated area. This area is still unmitigated, right? We tapped into it, leaving a little bit. Say there. And our entry would likely change as well. So still no trade. Still being patient. Let's take a look at Bookmap. We're getting some aggressive buyers stepping in now as we speak. 830 contracts, 167, 220, 629, 2. So yeah, maybe this is it. This might be our push up. Strong wiki candle. So a strong rejection into about 50% of the range. I think I'm in. So we're going to buy 2 here. Oh shit, I just sold. Let me get out. So looking at this range, my stop is going to be below the fair value gap, or excuse me, the wick low, swing low, and my TP going to be at the high. We'll pause and see how this plays out. All right, so things aren't starting out the best for this trade. So what we've done is we're just going to stick with it. We put our stop right below this 23,150. So we are taking on risk. And we entered 23.90 way up here, right? So we're hoping to get a push up from here. And if we get through this 23,150 level, we're pretty much toast. So that's the plan. We'll just keep an eye here on Bookmap to see what happens. And yeah, CVD selling pressure is not increasing, so that's a good sign. But we are taking on some heat here, so we need to make up some ground if we want this trade to work out for us. We do have an hour and a half, so maybe we sit in it for a while. Just based on the Edgeful statistics and the fact that we haven't retraced back to the initial balance yet, I feel like there's a good chance that we do get back to that initial balance. But right now, it's not looking too pretty for us. Not at all. So, may take another big fat L today. But we're going to hold on to it. We're just going to hands in the pockets and let's see what happens. Watch this play out. We need those aggressive buyers to be like, yeah, this is a good price. A 23,150 is held. So let's see if we can hold that price. Now we're getting a nice push. Got some aggressive sellers still pushing it back down. Man, trading is hard. No joke. This shit is hard as heck. The sellers aren't messing around, man. It's not looking pretty for us. Oh man, this is nuts. We bounced right off of that uh deviation band of the session VWAP. It's been holding. So it's crazy, right? Although there's a bearish sentiment, I'm still taking bullish trades all day. So just something to think about. Every trade I've taken today was a basically for a move back up to the top. So regardless of how it plays out, there's a clear bearish bias, and I'm still fading. So yeah, pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Think about not getting emotional and looking at the data. Maybe I'm just reviewing the data in a way that maybe all the bearish indicators on the screener are a better indication as opposed to it making that retracement back to the initial balance. Um, we're still in it, but man, those sellers are not messing around today. So every time we make a little bit of traction, the sellers keep pushing it right back down. So we are about 5 points away from being stopped. I think we're at 23,148 is our stop. It was a nice push. Holy cow. It's like a 10-point move. See the sell wall move up. Still got a lot of ground to cover. And right back down. $23 $157 to $23 $169. Starting to get some aggressive buyers. Definitely not going to get excited. Just let it play out. And we just got stopped out. That's crazy. Wow. And now the move up, right? Here's where it goes. So we re-enter. Because we know how this works, right? We get stopped out and then it goes. So we re-enter. We're going to give it one more shot. Because we just swept that range, cleaned all of the orders out. And I've seen this happen before. So I'm actually okay taking this second trade. I would not call this revenge trading. I've just seen this happen so many times where it hits your stop, then price reverses back up to the top. So we're perfectly okay here. And we're going to hold a tight stop. You can see it right here. So there's our entry, 22,167. Not looking pretty in the city. I think we have to move it. See, now we're moving stops, right? Bad idea. Real bad idea. So this bounce, 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 bounce. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's all I can stomach. So that's 23 131. And I am tilting a little bit. Ain't gonna lie. 23 131. And I just faded the whole time. And we got stopped out again. So that's two. Take a look at Bookmap. So we're just getting wrecked, right? Still more room to the downside. Question is, does it stop? I think it does. I think we go back up, but this is kind of emotional, right? We need to wait for some type of bullish signal. Before we get our panties in a bunch and just fire. Because we're definitely wrong. A lot today. We've been wrong. Don't fight. Don't fight the trend, right? So we're back into that range. So we may stay in this range all fucking day. So coming back into trading view, we got stopped out here. We re-entered. We got stopped out here for another loser. Where's the next one? Right here. Or trying to catch the falling knife. Is that what they say? Is that what I just did? So we broke structure to the downside. So that's the target for yesterday's low. This is insane. So we get that double bottom there, essentially. We're going to go in one more time with 2 contracts with our stop below the zone and our take profit at the top of the zone. So yeah, we're just getting wrecked today on these trying to catch the bottom. Going to be a lesson learned when I go back and watch this video again. Take notes. This is brutal. I think 23,100 is the safest point for this, even though I don't want to move it any lower. Doesn't make sense. Bookmap. We'll just keep it on bookmap. All right, so we are in 4 contracts. I'm not sure what happened here. It shows one. There's like 4 contracts here and 2 contracts up here. I think they're different. I guess we didn't get fully filled. That's what happened. So all of our um, accounts are a little bit skewed here. So I think we're gonna close out everything. Let's go back to bookmap. We do see some orders up. See if we can go grab those and then maybe continue to push. Does look like we have a little bit of momentum for this pullback, but we've been getting wrecked pretty badly today, so whatever. Live and learn. Just adjusting the stop a little bit there. We're still just above break even on the stop. And as far as bookmap goes, see if we can get a push back up to this 23,159 area. It's 23,159, 23,158. I'm still liking the momentum back to the upside here. But I am partial because I'm in a long. Moving the TP up to 23,166. If we do get stopped out here, I may consider re-entering depending on the momentum. We are in profit, but we're going for it, and it looks like we're getting close to our stop, and we got stopped out. I'm not sure why I'm in a short here. This is like ridiculous. It opened up a short for 2, so I'm not sure why I am in a short. I don't even see it on the. I see what happened here. This is ridiculous. Totally screwed up the execution on this. I'm not sure what happened. Should not be in a short. Regardless of what happens, I should not be in a short. So I just took all the profit away just there. I'm going to fucking close this out. Now I'm a little tilted. My counts are all jacked up. No, my mic fucking stand just broke. Talk about, I didn't even smash it. It just like broke. That's hilarious. I'm going to pause. So just lots of BS going on right now. I can't even see where my fucking average price is. I can't even see where my entry is. I got this limit order here that is just fucking here. Has nothing to do with anything. So anyways, I'm going to pause this. I'm going to try to figure this shit out, and that's probably going to be it for this video. But we took a big L. I'll put a close on it, and we'll try again tomorrow. All right, y'all. So I'm pretty much done for the day. Um, we're down 427 on the day. And just to recap, let's go into TradingView. I had all kinds of issues at the end of the day. About 100 of that was from a short that I wasn't even supposed to be in. I'm not even going to review it. I couldn't even see it on the screen, so I had no idea until it was too late. I kept trying to catch the bottom, lost the bottom, got stopped out, and yeah, this trade, I thought I was in a short. I was actually in a long. It came back and hit my, I don't know what the fuck happened. So at the end of the day, I'm down 427. Um, I went against the bias for the day because I looked at some reports and I thought that we were going to retrace based off statistics. It didn't happen. So at the end of the day, lesson learned. We're below the VWAP. We're below the initial balance. We had an initial balance breakout failure. All indicators were bearish, and I decided to take bullish trades all fucking day. So until next time, Steven signing out. Let's try not to make the same mistakes again moving forward.